morning, everyone, and welcome to the Have Knitting podcast. It is Tuesday, the 3rd of May. I am sitting in my daughter's bedroom because it's actually quite sunny here. My dining table, because it's kind of in the middle of the house, I've got to wait until I've got to wait until after lunch when the sun's sort of on that side of the house to get that light. So I thought it'd probably look a bit dark. So I am sitting here on the floor. Autumn has well and truly arrived. It's gotten quite cold over the last couple of days. So much so that I don't think I rugged my daughter up enough at preschool today. But, you know, my kids have grown up in the mountains. I feel the cold. I feel the cold a lot. My kids are grown up in the mountains and are still happy to run around in shorts and short sleeve t-shirts when it's exceptionally cold. So, you know, maybe not in the middle of July, but, you know, at least, although even then, there are some days when I'm like, would you put more clothes on? No, I'm hot. But it's freezing and we've got the fire going. But I'm hot. No, you're not. You're not because I'm not. Put some more clothes on because I feel cold. I've actually said that to my kids, or sort of, but I said that as a joke inside my own head. For a very long time, my now 10-year-old daughter would say, her birthday's in February, so it's right at the end of summer. For the longest time, she would, dead set in the middle of winter, so you know, middle of July, we'd tell her to go get dressed and she'd come out wearing a summer like a sundress, you know, strappy, light cotton, breezy sort of thing. And we'd be like, what are you wearing? It's freezing outside. But I'm a summer baby. She was convinced that because she was born in summer that she didn't feel the cold. And it was warm all the time. She doesn't say that anymore. The things they say funny things. My 3-year-old went to preschool today wearing a hat that I bought for my oldest son when he was 6 months old. And it's like this, it's a hat, it's a beanie for a baby. It's not knitted, it's sewn, but it's sewn from like furry sort of material and it's got a bear's face on it. And she loves this hat. It's a baby's hat. And she's 3. Actually, she's 4 at the end of the month. And she still wears this hat. She was wearing it in the middle of summer. It's actually fleecy on the inside. And she was wearing it in the middle of summer. She's my kid. There's nothing more to say about that. She's my kid. She takes after me. I'm a bit out there, so is she. She's just different. She just does it differently to me. But yeah, so she's wearing this hat at preschool. And I think if you've ever seen Bob's Burgers, she looks a bit like, it makes her look like Louise from Bob's Burgers. And just a little bit, except, you know, my little girl is obviously a lot younger, isn't slightly psychotic, and has like sort of ash blonde kind of hair, slowly going darker. And yeah, she was wearing it one day. My husband said she looks a bit like Louise, and I was just going, what do you mean? So I had to explain it to me because, you know, I mean, I think Bob's Burgers is hysterical. I really do. Don't judge me on that. I do think it's really funny. But yeah, she's crazy. Anyway, so it has been a really, really, really busy week. For a lot of reasons. The first reason was that last week I put together 100 Mother's Day goodie bags for a local school to sell at their Mother's Day fete. So it's just got, you know, some jamberry bits and pieces, sample, a cuticle stick, alcohol wipe, a few other bits and pieces. And so that took me about 2, maybe 3 days because I had to put them all together, I had to put them in the bag, I had to fold, you know, like seal the bags. And I bought a stamp off a friend who does, I think it's not Creative Memories, they're called something, Close to My Heart. Who's a Close to My Heart demonstrator. And I got this lovely Mother's Day stamp. So I could do like little labels for them and stamp Happy Mother's Day on all of them. And I forgot. And I was cleaning some stuff up the other night, looking for something, and I found the stamp. I'm like, oh my goodness. I mean, it cost $5. And I'm sure if I don't know, I could leave it for the kids. The kids could make Mother's Day cards. But yeah, so I was kind of kicking myself over that one. But I spent like 2 or 3 days cutting out cardstock and paper because of what I'd done. So by the end of it, my arms were so sore. And like all the way up to my bicep. I'm left-handed, so it's kind of with my left hand. And on Friday, I had to take them down to the lady who I was giving them to on Friday. And I was putting the last 10 together before the kids went off in the morning. And I realized, I think it was 10, maybe 15. And I realized I didn't have enough of one of the sheets, like the instruction sheets that I had. So I printed out some more and then printed out this other thing that I thought I'd run out of as well. And I'm sitting there, I watched a podcast, I think, cut them all out, and my hands were trembling because my arm was just so sore from all the cutting. And I started putting them together and I printed out too many. So I did all that cutting for nothing. But it's done. So that was awesome. It was an awesome it was an awesome opportunity. It's been a long morning. It was an awesome opportunity as well. So, you know, a chance to sort of get my name out there as a Jamberry consultant and, yeah, and give some mums something nice as well. I think that's sort of where I'm going. I'm going to have a sip of tea. It's just plain black tea. There's nothing, it's my favourite Twinings traditional afternoon tea. It's not very exciting tea, but it's like, I don't even think it's quite 10 o'clock yet. And like I said, it's a long morning, so I just wanted a strong black tea. I didn't want to fuss. It's just a tea bag. I don't have time for tea leaves and teapots. Just give me a tea bag and a mug and some hot water and I'm good to go. So, what else has happened? What other busy things have I done? Yeah, so it was mainly the Jamberry thing that kind of took up all my time. The kids all went back to school last week, and that was just like a flurry of activity. So on Tuesday, my the 4 older ones were home, and my 3-year-old was at preschool. And I dropped her off, and she was like, "Mummy, my head's sore. Mummy, my tummy feels sick." And I think she realised as we walked out the door, when it was just her and I walking out the door, the penny kind of dropped that everyone else was staying home and she wasn't. But she had a good day at preschool. They went on an autumn walk, so they went and had a look at the local trees and how their leaves are all changing colours, and then they played at a little park. And she had a good time. And then on Wednesday, she was home, but everyone else went back to school, and we went and did our grocery shopping. So it was only 2 kids that I was shopping with rather than 6. But that was just a flurry of activity that day because I had to get all the kids to school, you know, sort of like dump back in a routine. And then my oldest daughter is in her High School Musical, and they have practice on Wednesday. So, you know, picked everyone up from school, and then had to bundle everyone back in the car and go down to her school and pick her and her friend, like the neighbour, one of our neighbours up, bring them home. You know, I still do everything, and it was just like, I just felt like I'd been thrown in the deep end. And then there was the Jamberry stuff. And to top it all off, I was also doing the Initiate Knit Design, run by Francois Denoy from Aroha Knits, which was awesome. It was awesome, and I will talk a bit more about that in a little while. But I just felt like last week was just super intense. I just had so much to do and so much to get done. It's nice to be in a new week, but I have a teething baby, so I'm supposed to be grocery shopping right now, but because he was miserable this morning, and when I say miserable, I mean he was just, I couldn't walk away from him. It didn't matter whether I left the room or not. I just couldn't walk away from him without him sitting on the floor crying. So yes, he was just miserable. So when I got showered, I had a little person sitting at the door crying his eyes out, poor kid. So I am makeup free at the moment because I just decided I was going to record before I had to throw myself in to all those other things that I've got to do. I've got 2 loads of washing that need to be hung out. I've got more washing to go on, and I want to try and get everything done while he's sleeping, because I have a feeling when he wakes up, he's still going to be miserable. Another sip of tea. But you know, that's life, isn't it? I mean, you know, we all have those days where all of our plans just get muddled up because something happens that we were just not planning on. But you can't. I mean, I can't. I didn't know on Sunday when I was thinking about what I was going to do this week that he was going to decide that he was going to be miserable on Tuesday. All right, so let's... Sorry, I'm still coughing a little bit. Almost all gone. I notice it more when the air is a bit cold. It sort of triggers this cough, but it's not as bad as it was, so it's slowly going. And then it'll all go away and I'll get another cold. It's just that time of the year. I got home last night and my husband walked past the heater. He said, "What's that on for?" I said, "It's cold." He said, "Why didn't you light the fire?" Just throw something else just throw something else at me. But in saying that, he didn't then light the fire and turn off the heater. He left the heater on. Apparently I'm the only one that can light the fire. But I don't feel like it's quite... I mean, it's been cool, really getting really cool in the evenings, but I don't feel like it's fire weather yet. You know, like, you know, not, you know. I was thinking this morning, it's May 3rd. That means that I've got about 5 months before the weather starts warming up. That's a long time thinking about it. But yeah. 4 months until we're, you know, in September. Yes. And that's spring. Yes. So, Northern Hemispherians, enjoy your summer because winter's coming. All right, sorry. It's been, you know, yesterday, I know I'm rambling, but yesterday I spent, I went shopping with my son because I needed some me time. So I just went and wandered around the local Westfields. I got some stuff that I needed. I bought some stuff that I didn't need, but I wanted. I did all my 3-year-old's birthday shopping, which is awesome. And I think she'll be very happy. Excuse me, but I just needed some me time. And I got to a point, I'm walking through the shopping centre and I'm like, oh, it's Tuesday. Hang on, no, it's not Tuesday, it's Monday. And the whole, like, all of yesterday, even after I had that revelation, while I was waiting for my coffee that it was Monday, not Tuesday, I still kept thinking it was Tuesday. So that's how my week is going. And even today, I keep thinking it's Wednesday, even though I have a child at preschool today. And she only goes to preschool Monday, Tuesday. I would like to think that on Mother's Day, I'll get a chance to rest. But I have 6 children. I don't think that's possible. Sorry, I've got the hiccups. Or something. I feel like I'm hiccuping. So if you see me bouncing around, it's because I'm hiccuping. Alright, so last time I spoke to you, I said that I was trying to finish off the March pumpkin passport chart. I got it finished, and I got it finished like last Monday or Tuesday night, but I didn't start April, excuse me, I didn't start April until, I think it was Sunday night. But that was because I was doing all things Jamberry and then I wanted to spend some time knitting. So that's it. So I love this little windmill. You know, I was thinking about it after I finished it. Sometimes, it's looking so good. So I've started on April and there's another little person. So I've done the little person's head. Some of it. And I love these little tulips. They're so cute. Anyway, I was thinking about it. I I was thinking about it when I was stitching on it on Monday night, or last Monday night, or whenever it was. Sorry. It's started to trigger my asthma. Thanks. Thank you, buddy. Anyway, I was thinking about it the other night when I was working on it. How I really struggled with February's chart with the Eiffel Tower and is it the Louvre? Whatever that museum is. I really struggled with that. One, I struggled to get into the rhythm of it, and it wasn't until I was about halfway through this section here that I saw what the pattern was doing and was able to do it without having to think really hard. This one, on the other hand, I could see where the pattern was going for the most part, and it was really easy to just work it. And it got me thinking about rhythm and how there is rhythm in everything, like whether it's, whether it's cross stitching, like, you can find that rhythm in the cross stitch, like within the pattern, as long as it's not, as long as it's a section that's sort of repeated, you can kind of do it because it's predictable, you know what's coming next. Knitting's the same. There's a rhythm with knitting, and sometimes it can be really hard to get into that rhythm. And I found that when I was doing the Initiate Knit design, which I will talk about now, I think, or in a minute. But yeah, so it just got me thinking about knitting and rhythm, and how just so many things in life have a rhythm. And once you find that rhythm, they're really easy to do. I guess some people would call it muscle memory. It's not muscle memory in a cross stitch. In knitting it probably is, but even then, if it's a particular stitch pattern, there's a rhythm to it, like there's the ebb and flow, there's the yarn overs, there's the purls, there's all of that. And there's just this, once you find that rhythm, like it just moves so much more smoothly. So yes, I found the March chart, even though I think it was a little bit bigger than the February chart, I found it worked out much quicker because there was that rhythm, and that I managed to establish quite early on. Does that make sense? So that's that. So let's talk about the Initiate Knit design. After I've had a cough and a sip of tea. If you're trying to read my mug, it says, "Take life one cup at a time." And actually, there was another one that said had something on there about coffee, and I've gone, I better not get that one, because if I'm drinking tea out of a mug that says coffee, I'll get myself into trouble. I'll confuse myself. So the Initiate Knit Design course was really, really good. I follow Aroha Knits on Facebook. And she did a 5 shawls in 5 days challenge a little while ago, and I sort of found out about it, or I didn't find out about it, I paid attention to it because I'd already seen it, but I hadn't really sort of processed the information about 2 or 3 days after she started. And so I signed up and I got all the emails, but because I was so busy, and then we got sick, so like busy with end of school term, and then we all got sick, I didn't have a chance to do it. I've still got all the emails there, and I will eventually do it. But then I may have gotten an email, or it came up again in Facebook, the Initiate Knit Design. And so I sort of read through the blurb, and then I pounced and I signed up for it. So it started on the 25th of April, so Monday of last week. And sorry. It started with she sent out an email each day telling you what the task or what the challenge of the day was. And so the first challenge was to make a mood board. And so I got onto Pinterest and I Googled, there were like 4 different themes that you could choose from. Some people broke outside of that box, but most people stayed within the confine, like within those themes that she gave us. And it was just a starting point. So there was forests, oceans, or maybe it was only 3, forests, oceans and mountains, I think, were the 3 themes. Well, those are the 3 themes that I can remember. So I chose forest. So I got into Pinterest and I was just pinning pictures of forest that I thought looked nice. There were squirrels, which we don't have in Australia. There were toadstools. There were, there's a whole range of things. And, there was pink moss from Ireland. There was just, it was a higgledy-piggledy jumble of different images. And then on day 2, I think after you got the mood board, she sort of told you to start thinking about stitch patterns. Either that or that was on day two. I can't quite remember because that was last week, which was forever ago. So anyway, so I started looking for stitch patterns, and I have misplaced my Barbara Walker's first treasury of knitting patterns. It's buried somewhere in the house. I remember moving it out of my bedroom, but I can't for the life of me remember where I moved it to. And I checked in all the usual places. Anyway, it'll turn up. I know it'll turn up. So anyway, so I was looking at knittingful.com, which has stitch patterns, and I was going through, I've got a couple of other stitch pattern books. So I was going through all of those. I came up with a concept I kind of liked, and I did a sketch. And yeah, I was sort of happy with that. I chose my stitch patterns, wrote them all down. The following day she has you swatching. Well, I couldn't do it on the, like, I wasn't able to do it Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I think, or I started on Wednesday, but I wasn't able to finish it because I had this Jamberry work to do. So yeah, no, it was Wednesday, Thursday. So on Friday I started the swatch after I'd gotten all my, done all my Jamberry stuff, did the delivery. I think maybe even before I did the delivery, but once it was already packed up and ready to go, I sat down and started swatching, and it just wasn't working. Just was not working. Wasn't happy with it. I just wasn't happy. So yes, because I did a bunch of stuff before I took the box down. And so I went, right, I need to start again. So I went back to my original mood board, which was a jumble of images, and went, no, what do I really want to convey with my knitting? So I refined it down to, I refined it to a specific thing, which was the sunlight filtering through trees in the forest. So I did a new mood board, posted that on Instagram. At that point I decided that my sketch, that what I was trying to achieve in my sketch wasn't going to work. It was either that or the following day. I think it might have been the following day. No, on Friday I redid, I can't remember. Anyway, what ended up happening my brain just exploded a little bit. What ended up happening was that I redid my mood board. I ended up I wasn't able to swatch what I wanted. You know, like I had two different patterns. One was a lace, one was a slip stitch, and they just were not happy together. Actually, no, it wasn't. It was lace and it was twisted stitches. So twisted stitches like out and V. And it just was not happening for me. So I ended up ripping it all back, went back to the drawing board with my sketch, re-sketched it with something else. Found a new stitch pattern, which I think I ended up doing on Friday night. I think I sat on the couch going through all the stitch patterns again. Got up on Saturday morning, went through my stitch pattern book again, and finally found a stitch pattern that I thought would work. And my aim was to use 2 or 3 different lace patterns, but then when I started knitting, I realised that the gauge had probably changed, and I might end up making it quite difficult for myself. All I was doing was going to knit a cow. And, you know, like the more I thought about it, the more I thought, you know, so many designers out there don't go mixing stitch patterns, and there is a reason for that. I mean, sometimes it can work, but if you've got 2 yarn overs right next to each other and then you go to a pattern that is just 1 yarn over, the amount of stretch in that, like in the initial pattern with the 2 yarn overs right next to each other, is going to change. So your gauge is going to change considerably. And, you know, like maybe in a cow, you might be able to get away with that. Maybe, but maybe not. So I decided that it just wasn't worth the angst to try and achieve that at this point in time, because I want to be able to get to the end of this process and think, yay, I've done it. That's awesome. And it looks good. So I decided to just stick with one stitch pattern, and then it took me most of Saturday afternoon of starting, ripping it back, starting, ripping it back, starting, ripping it back, starting, and ripping it back. I don't know how many times I restarted it. There were tears, or very close to tears. I think there was a tantrum as well. My poor children. Sorry, I was looking for the swatch, it was on my lap. There was a range of things that was going on in my house on Saturday, and I was a bit of a mess. Apparently that's normal though, so I've been told. So, but it's done. I got to about, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 o'clock on Saturday afternoon, and I finally had got into the rhythm of the pattern. And this is it. So I'm actually really quite happy with this. I was going to sort of change it a little bit, and I restarted, where is it? I restarted the lace pattern along here. Oh, I can't remember which side it's on. Oh, up here. It's here. Because I was wondering if I could just have it running closer, but I couldn't. So I'm not going to play around with it too much. I'm just going to go, because I just don't have the head. I don't have the brain space to sort of figure out, well, if I move this stitch here, then this is what happens. And I don't have the patience to play around with it. I'm really busy. I'm quite tired. I have a teething baby, and I'm not making excuses. It's just more than I can handle at the moment. So I was initially going to make this, I was going to do a cowl with this. But then as I was thinking about it over the weekend, I realised after I did my gauge, you know, like I washed and blocked it and did my gauge swatch and wrote up, you know, the measurements and everything that I needed. Like I did all of that on Sunday night. I realised that I don't wear cowls. I have one. I knit the honey cowl in St. Madeline Tosh a few years ago, and I really like it, but I maybe wear it once or twice a year because I just don't like wearing cowls. I prefer wearing asymmetrical shawls. It's my favourite shawl to wear. I just think they look amazing and they wear really well. And so I've gone, right, okay, I'll just make an asymmetrical shawl with it. So yeah, so I've sort of been playing around with ideas in my head of what I want it to look like ultimately. And so yeah, so that's my aim for this week, is to at least get started on my asymmetrical shawl. Done in that knit pattern based on sunlight filtering through trees. So watch this space. There'll be more on this. I don't know how often. The Initiate Knit Design, Francois has started a Facebook group, and it's I mean, it's optional to join, but I joined, and there's like Motivational Monday, there's accountability, there's a whole range of different things. And I think she said, I saw it yesterday, but she probably posted it on Sunday. She said, what are your goals for this week? And I said, just to start. So there are some of the people that participated that are ready to release their patterns, or you know, they've got it all written up and they're ready to send them off to test knitters. And I've had to go, you know what? I've had a really full-on week. I have 6 kids. And that's not an excuse, it's a fact. I have 6 children. And the reason I keep saying that's not an excuse is because I feel like when I say I have 6 kids, then I'm making excuses for not being able to do things. But it's fact. I have 6 children, and they take up a huge amount of my time and energy, and running around after them and taking them to all the places takes up a lot of my time and energy as well. So my plan is this week to just start. Just start and see where it goes. And if I can just do a little bit, you know, here and there, I think I'm going to set it up like Pomodoros. So I'll set aside 2 or 3 days a week, and I'll do 25-minute blocks of working on it and taking notes. So yeah, I mean, not because I don't want to knit it and not because I don't want it done, but I'm not in a rush to get it done, and I really want to be able to enjoy the process and learn as much as I can from it, so that at the end, when I am ready to send it, you know, I've written my pattern, I'm ready to send it out to pattern testers and everything, I have confidence in it, I still love it, and all the rest. So that, watch this space. So that is that. So this week last week I worked steadily on my Brian shawl, which I didn't post a picture of it last time. I didn't show you the pattern, like the pattern picture last time. So you'll just, and I don't have it with me, I didn't bring it in, so you'll just have to Go and look it up on Ravelry. And see for yourself. But I didn't up until I had to do all things Jamberry. I did get a fair amount of work done on it. So I was just before the first textured pattern last time I spoke to you, and I'm going to take this off. Excuse me. And that's a little stitch marker / progress keeper that looks like an earring, and I could probably wear it like an earring, from Miss Calico Cat, who used to be Chat and Design. So I'm just putting it on. Just put it there in front of the iPad. So this is it. So it's been knit in Madeline Tosh. Calligraphy, Venetian is this burgundy maroon colour, and calligraphy is the grey colour. And the burgundy actually, it doesn't in the camera, but if you're looking at it, there's a section there, you can't really see it. There's a section just here that's a little, it's got that beigey sort of undertone. And the burgundy maroony colour, the Venetian, makes it look quite pink. I mean, not, maybe like a flesh pink, sort of soft flesh pink. But yeah, so that's it. That's going really well. I still love working on this. It is just, I've been trying to work on it a little bit every day. Just because I really want to get it done. But I love this. This is just really, 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 really cool. Oh, and I almost forgot to mention, if you are interested in the Initiate Knit Design e-course, I think there's a waiting list. So I will find the website and I will link it in the show notes, which will be up eventually. I'll try and get them up pretty much the same time this goes up, because I know I've been really, really slack with that recently. And I will try and get back into better habits. So yeah, so this is my Brian. It's designed by Caillou Beranger. I listened to the French pronunciation of it on the internet, and then as soon as I sat there saying it for like 2 minutes, and even the kids were walking around saying the same name. I still can't remember how to pronounce it. It's not Beranger, which I thought it was last time. It's Beranger. Beranger? Beranger. Beranger. Something like that. At least that's what Forvo told me. Because there's a website where you can put in words from other languages, and it like, yeah, and it'll have like, there was a Japanese word that I needed to know how to pronounce, and 2 different people had recorded them saying this particular Japanese word, so that you can get the sound of the word right, or the pronunciation of the word right. Does that make sense? Random things. Random things you don't need to know about me. So yes. So I'm really, really loving it. It is so fun. It is so much fun. I love this textured stitch. The Brian is a paid for pattern. It is also asymmetrical. I love asymmetrical shawls. Yes, and it's gorgeous, and I'm really hoping that the recipient loves it, and I'm going to wear it, because this is the only chance I'm going to have to wear it. How cool does that look? I love it. I still haven't blocked my Bosk. That'll have to be done soonish, I think. I just haven't. I really haven't had the opportunity. And then I think on Saturday it was raining, so I couldn't even do it over the weekend. So, because that's generally when I tend to do things like that, because I've got my husband to kind of field off the kids. And I'm not having to worry about running out to school and stuff, you know, like, and leaving it out in the backyard. So, but yeah, so that's my Brian. I'm really loving it. I'm really, really, really enjoying it. So, I'll get my little stitch marker and stick it on here. So yeah, so that's going well. Really, 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 really well. It is a translation, and there are some things that are a little bit funny that are, you know, for me, are a little bit hard to like get lost in translation. And so what I've started doing, like rather than keeping track of what row I'm up to, I've actually started writing down the stitch count. And because the stitch count, like the increases stay the same, so I know that in this particular section it should increase by, you know, X amount of stitches. And so I'm able to just sort of follow along the pattern with my stitch count. Because she's been pretty good with keeping, like, she says, repeat, texture row, texture section 1, 8 times or whatever it is. And then she gives you what the final stitch count should be. So I can follow it along by just writing down the stitch count for each, like 4-row repeat or whatever it is. So, the weekend before last, or maybe it was just like the last couple of days of the school holidays, I was on Instagram and noticed that Miss Click Clack, who is Kelly O'Day, she's Miss Click Clack on Etsy, she was posting photos of tricolour sock sets, and they were to die for, absolutely to die for. And I commented on one of them. There was one that was like this pale pink with like orange speckles on it, and it was paired with possibly a was it a deeper pink or a grey and an orange, and I really liked it. And I commented, and she said that and there was another girl that commented on the same trio and said that she really liked it, and she said, well, contact me on Etsy and I can set up a custom listing for you. And so I went and had a look at her Etsy store, and she had 2 other sock sets. One of them I really loved. I think it was like a burnt orange and a rust and a grey or something, and it just looked gorgeous. It was, more sort of what I would consider would be masculine colours. They'd be colours that I would happily stick on my husband. I'm not sure if I could wear them. Not because they're masculine colours. I like the colours. They're just not my colours. But they would definitely be my husband's colours. But anyway, I was sort of eyeing that off and clicking refresh to see if she put anything else up in a store. And I kept clicking refresh, and I kept clicking refresh, and eventually the burnt orange one went away. It was sold, and nothing else came up. So I started trawling her shop, and I found a yarn called Garden Party, and it's this kind of pearly cream colour, and it had speckles of spring green, mulberry, and aquamarine blue. And I fell in love with it instantly. So I sent Kelly a message and said, could you custom dye me a sock trio with an aquamarine, a mulberry, and the Garden Party? And she sent me a message back pretty much the same day saying, I'm going away on Tuesday. I don't know if I'm going to have much more dyeing time, and I have some other things that I need to do for the shop that take priority, but I'll see how I go. And I went, okay, that's totally understandable. So I think on Sunday, was it on Saturday? I think she sent me a message on Saturday saying that she was able to find the time and asked me a couple of questions about the colorways that I wanted. And then I ended up chatting with her again on Sunday because she had dyed it, and she was asking me questions again about so the first time I was given an option of 3 different purples. And so I chose like 3 different shades of mulberry. So I chose the one that I wanted, sent that back to her, and then the following day I got another message with 2 different aquamarines. One was a light aquamarine that was more on the light blue side of things, and the other one was a darker aquamarine, which is a bit more on the kind of green. And so I chose the one I wanted, and she was asking me about the Garden Party, like the skein of the Garden Party, because there was 2. One was a bit heavier, and the other one had a knot in it, or something like that. And I chose, but the one with the knot in it went better with the accent colours that I had chosen. So I went with the one with the knot in it because, it's not a big deal to weaving ends or to do a magic knot or whatever and just have that on the inside of your sock somewhere. My feet aren't that sensitive. It's really not going to bother me. Or just to tie a knot and then untie it and then just, really thoroughly weaving those ends. It's not a big deal. So while I was talking to her, there was also another sock trio that had been listed in the shop, that I became a little bit obsessed with. It was this like peachy pink, a darker pink and a grey. And I put it in my cart as I was waiting for Kelly to list my custom order. And I was just secretly hoping that nobody would take it because I don't need 2 sock sets. And then Kelly listed my reserved, like my custom order. And I was still in and ahhing about the other one. And then I went and had a look at it again because we were going out. We were going to church in the morning. I just needed to get it done so we could get ready and go. And I looked and it said limited edition, dogwood. And I've gone, right, if it's limited edition, I've got to get it. So this is the custom order that Kelly dyed for me. This is the Garden Party. Sorry, it's still in the plastic. I'm not ready to take it out. This is the Garden Party. This is the Aquamarine, and this is the Mulberry. And they just look amazing together. I can't wait to see how they knit it up. So in the Garden Party, you can see there's some orange. There's some of the Mulberry. That one, that's what's a bit darker. That sort of matches. And then there's this Aquamarine that's also sort of flecked through. And you can see it. You can see it on the back. And there's also a spring green. And I sort of thought about possibly getting the spring green to go with it as well, which make it very springy. But actually, I really like this colour. And I think there's more of this, quite possibly more of the Aquamarine. But that's also because Kelly picked the skein of yarn that actually went better with the sock set that I chose. Or like the accents that I chose. But that is going to become a socks, like two socks, a tricolour sock. So at the moment, Kelly in her Miss Click Clack group on Ravelry is running a block socket to me tricolour sock along. I don't know what it's called. It's a tricolour sock along. It starts today, which is the 3rd of May, and runs through until August sometime. And I think there will be prizes as well. But I thought it would be just so much fun. I'm just going to knit vanilla socks. I did start one I cast on last night. Well, I caught up on a podcast. And so this is my other set. So this is the peach. This is the limited edition dogwood, which I have wound up. I got my 12-year-old to help me on Sunday. It's a little bit of a darker peachy colour than what I'm seeing on the camera. But otherwise, it's fairly true to it. So, I became slightly obsessed with that colourway. So that will be, and I'm going to knit both socks differently. So this one, I'm doing a 1x1 twisted rib cast on. And I'm going to do both socks the same. So I'm going to have the peach at the top, followed by this pink, which is called Big Girl Pants. So it'll be like this. Peach, pink, and then grey. And this is called Putty. So my socks will look like that. I'll use my chin as my third hand. And I think that will look quite nice. And she's really good. Like, she writes the weight of the yarn on it. So that's 39. I know that this one is 32. And then the putty is a little bit heavier at 55. So I sort of figured grey is grey. I'm happy to have the grey in the inside of my sock. But the peach, inside of my shoe. But the peach and the pink, that needs to be out there saying hello to the world as far as I'm concerned. So my plans for the Garden Party set that Kelly was so kind to dye for me. What I'm going to do with this will be in the middle. And on one sock, I'll do purple at the mulberry at the top and the aquamarine on the toe. And on the other sock, I'll switch it. So the mulberry will be on the toe and the aquamarine will be at the top. And I'm going to do a 2x2 rib with that one, I think. Just to switch it up, just to do something different. And I was reading a blog last night called Knit Better Socks. I can't remember the lady's name. I should have written that down. And she has a huge amount of articles that she just researches sock knitting and ways of improving your socks. And I'm really keen to do a short row heel. I have one that fits, but I can't remember the stitch count of that sock, but I think it's probably over 70 because of the pattern. But I generally knit a 64 stitch sock. And a short row heel, normal standard short row heel, is too small for my heel. because I have, you know, high instep or whatever. Excuse me, it just doesn't fit. So I had a look at her website, and she gives some suggestions on how to make sure, how to have a short row heel that means that it fits your foot. And two of the suggestions that she offers is, one is to knit the short row heel over more stitches. So you sort of, she gives the maths for it. I can't tell you what it is off the top of my head. But essentially you divide it, the stitches that are left, I think you divide into thirds or something. And so you have, so you know, I can't quite remember, but you end up using some of the stitches on the instep to, like in your heel. And the other one she suggests is that you increase on the, like, you can either increase on the instep or you can increase on the back of the leg where the heel goes, and then you just decrease. So what I thought I would do, because if you look on the bottom of a toe-up sock, you have this lovely section. It just goes, you know, straight. But then you have these stitches that kind of go off the side because that's where the increases for the gusset are. So my plan is to do the same thing with the sock. And she tells you like how to, she sort of gives you a rough rundown of how to do it. I'm going to have to, I think I might have to ask some questions on Ravelry. But because I'm just doing a plain vanilla sock, it doesn't matter. But I'm just going to increase. I don't know, however many stitches, and then do the short row heel and then decrease. So I'm really, really keen to see how it goes. I'm hoping that it goes smoothly and then I don't end up with any extra issues, because that would be a shame. But yeah, so that's my plan. And if I can implement it and it works, then I may, oh, who knows? Who knows what I'll do. But anyway, so that's my plan. Maybe I should do a sock recipe, like brownie knits for short row heels for high instep people. Anyway, that's it. I didn't mean to prattle on for so long. I wanted to keep it short, but a lot has happened, and I really wanted to talk to you about the Initiate knit designs, because that was exciting. I really enjoyed that. Anyway, oh yes, and I didn't mention that the yarn that I used was the yarn from Circus Tonic that I showed you last time in the Adele colorway. So I did say that it was destined for a cowl. I never intended to actually use it for the Initiate knit design course, but that was the yarn that I had on hand, so that was the yarn that I went for. And I really like it. It's such a lovely soft pink, and there is some depth to it. You can't really see it. Maybe if I hold it a little bit closer. No, it's just not, I don't think the camera's really picking up on it. There are some blips of darker pink, but yeah, that's quite nice. I really like that. It's very nice. And this is on her Fiesta base, which is just 100% superwash merino. So that is that. Maybe you can see it there. See, it's just a little bit darker. So there's a little bit of that sort of like hint of texture in the color of the hand-dyed yarn. So that's that. I hope that you're keeping well. I will talk to you again in about a week. I don't think I have anything on. And yes, hopefully then it'll be a shorter show. All right, well, I will talk to you soon. Take care. Bye. 3, 2, 1. I almost forgot. To celebrate May, because yay for May. Sorry, I've been saying that for the last, since Sunday. Yay for May. And May is such a great month. It's Mother's Day, it's my birthday, it's my daughter's birthday. It's a great month, even if it is cold. So yay for May. But to celebrate, I am hosting a sock along in the Have Knitting group on Ravelry. So yay for May socks. So if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, you can start knitting winter socks for next winter. And if you're at the Southern Hemisphere, you can just sock knit. So pattern of your choice, yarn of your choice, whatever you want to do, however you want to do it. I'll be knitting my Miss Click Clack socks. There will be a prize because the only person who entered the Have Knitting will knit competition I had running a couple of months ago was also the person that donated the prize. Thank you, Tonya. I'm going to be giving away a shawl pin, which I don't think I have with me. I think it's out in the lounge in one of my other knitting bags. Yes, it is. So there will be a prize. It's a gorgeous shawl pin. I know that has nothing to do with socks, but you know, it's all good. It's all knitting. It's all good. So yay for me. Join in and show me your socks. And yes, and I will speak to you soon. Bye.